Very good evening. I welcome all of you to CS Professional Tax Revision Batch Session 10. So, shall we start today's session? In today's session, our discussion is going to be about two things majorly. One is scope of supply and another is exemptions under GST. So, can I start? Can we start? Are you all set? Just quickly let me know in the chat window. Yes, all set. Wonderful. So, as you can see in front of you, scope of supplies analysis I have done. Okay. This scope of supply can be majorly divided in three parts. Okay. Section 7 can be majorly divided in three parts. Subsection 1, subsection 1A and subsection 2. Of course, there is a subsection 3 also, but that doesn't matter much. What matters for us is subsection 1, subsection 1A and subsection 2. What is 1? Okay, 1 talks about what is supply. Clear? Subsection 1 talks about what is supply. Okay, so there are three clauses in that. Can you see the three clauses? Clause A, clause B and clause C. Yes. What is clause A talking about? Clause A says that two things should be satisfied. What two things? One, there should be a activity in course or furtherance of business, isn't it? And that activity should be for consideration. Got the point? So whenever there is any activity and that activity is for consideration, we can call it as supply. Is it clear to all of you? What is subsection 1 clause A? Yes, no? Quickly let me know in the chat window. Yes. Some of you may keep the cameras on. So what happens is I can understand that which pace to go. Okay. Just looking at you, it gives me idea. Yes. Very good. Okay, so is subsection 1 clause A clear? So general activities where there is a sale, where there is barter, exchange, license, lease, all this will amount to supply, provided it is in course or furtherance of business. Okay. Then whenever there is an import of service means you are getting a service into India. Okay, there is an import of service. That import of service is for consideration. Okay, it may or may not be for the purpose of business. Then also it is called as supply. So examples which I had given you, okay, I will like to restate those examples. You are downloading and subscribing to Amazon Prime. Now that Amazon Prime is basically an import of service, because Amazon is not Indian company and you are paying for that, isn't it? So there is a consideration involved. Do you agree with me? Yes, obviously. So that's why you know that this is an example of supply. It is an import of service for consideration. And lastly, activities which are mentioned in schedule 1. Okay, schedule 1 activities, the speciality is that these activities may be without consideration, still they are called as supply. Okay, so there are how many activities in schedule 1? There are 4 activities in schedule 1. Okay, see the first activity, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset on which ITC has been availed. Okay, then supply between related persons or distinct persons, but it should be in course or furtherance of business. Okay, so basically what is first activity? Fixed asset which you have purchased, and on that fixed asset you have claimed ITC, and now that fixed asset you are donating. So even that type of donation will be called as supply. Do you agree with me? Yes. Then whenever goods are just sent by you know head office to branch, that is a you know supply between distinct persons. Okay, so it will also be treated as supply for the purpose of GST. Then holding company sending goods to subsidiary company, now because they are related, it will be called as supply, because sending of goods between a related person in course of business is also a supply. Are you getting my point? Then friends, supply of goods between principal and agent. Okay, and lastly, import of services by person. It's very critical point. I am talking about import of services. I am talking about import of services for second time. First time I was talking in clause B, where it was saying import of services for consideration. Yes, whether or not in course or furtherance of business. Now we are talking about import of service without consideration, it may be, but it is from a related person or his any other distinct establishment outside India, and this whole import is in course of business. Then and then only you can call it as supply. Got it? One more thing I want to tell you is, if we are talking about a gift given by employer to employee, now employer employee are related persons under GST, so this will be called as supply. But there is a proviso that it will be not supply if consideration amount, rather than consideration I would say, if value of gift is not exceeding rupees dash. What is that? Rupees 50,000. Very good. And I have given a small analysis of import of supply of services here. Okay, if you can see this analysis of import of supply of services, there are two things. Section 7 subsection 1 clause B. In that clause B, that import of supply of service is a supply if it is for consideration, and it may or may not be for the purpose of business. Secondly, there is one more import of service, that is in para 4 of schedule 1. Okay, that's what we are checking right now, schedule 1's para 4. In that, of course, it could be without consideration, but it has to be from related person or own establishment. Okay, and of course in the course of business. Agreed? Got it, all of you? Section 7 subsection 1. So totally, quickly tell me how many clauses in section 7 subsection 1? Total A, B, C. 3 clauses. Wonderful. C clause is referring to which schedule? C clause is referring to schedule 1. How many activities in schedule 1? 4 activities in schedule 1. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is the way in which you have to understand this section 7. Then in that subsection 1A, now 1A says that whenever there is a supply, in certain cases there is a confusion that whether it is a supply of goods or whether it is supply of services. So government has given you schedule 2. What is schedule 2? Schedule 2 is list of transactions. Okay, schedule 2 is list of transactions. In those transactions, government has told you whether it is that particular transaction is supply of goods or supply of services. Got it? Just few examples I have quoted here. Suppose there is a non-compete agreement. Okay, then it's a supply of services. Obviously, transfer of goods in business under directions of owner whether or not for consideration, is of course supply of goods. Then goods held for business are put for private use. Means um, company's motor car is allotted to employee for personal use, or company's motor car is used by director for his personal use. What is all these things? All these things are supply of services. Then you know, friends, that when I am winding up my business, when a taxable person is ceasing to be taxable person, means when he is winding up his business, then whatever stock he has of goods, okay, at the date of winding up, then that stock is deemed to be supplied. So it is supply of what? It is supply of goods. Clear, all of you? Then what about construction of immovable property? What is construction of immovable property? Construction of immovable property is supply of, yes, tell me in the chat window, it is supply of service. Okay, works contract is also supply of service, agreed. So of course yes, but so works contract is also supply of service, no doubt in that. But I am asking you about construction of immovable property. So construction of immovable property is supply of service, but you know that once the completion certificate is granted, okay, means what? As a builder, I got completion certificate, and after getting completion certificate, I have sold the flat. What it is? After getting completion certificate, I have sold a flat. What it is? It is neither supply of goods, very good, nor supply of services. Karthik, be careful. It is neither supply of goods nor supply of services, because you all know immovable property are not goods. To constitute goods, what is the condition? Goods means what? Some property which is movable in nature. Okay, I hope you understood this point well. Even Mathya Vathani was saying goods, but I hope you all understood the point that sale of immovable property is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. But when the immovable property is sold in construction phase, okay, then we call it as supply of services. Yes, wonderful, wonderful, good, very good. Let's go ahead now. Now schedule number 3, rather section 7 subsection 2. What is section 7 subsection 2? Section 7 subsection 2 talks about what is not supply. Okay, neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So for that, government asks us to go to schedule 3. Yes, so totally how many schedules are connected with section 7? Totally 3 schedules are connected with section 7. Yes. So services by court, tribunal, here I have given you important points in schedule 3. Functions by member of parliament or MLA or member of panchayats, members of municipalities and members of local authorities. Persons holding position in pursuance of provisions of constitution, means honorable Prime Minister of India, President of India, Governor of state. Okay, all this is not supply of service, neither supply of goods. Then obviously funeral services, etc., etc. And as discussed, sale of land or sale of building, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. But in case of building, if transaction takes place before occupancy certificate or completion certificate being obtained by the supplier, then what it is? Then it is supply of construction services. Wonderful, wonderful. I hope that this point is totally clear to you. And we have already discussed that actionable claims is neither supply of goods nor services. Which are the exceptions to that actionable claim, which are considered as supply? Yes, winning from lotteries. Yes, betting, gambling. They are exception to actionable claim. Rather, yes, exception to the fact that actionable claim is in negative list. Means in negative list it is said that actionable claim, but other than lottery, betting, gambling. In short, lottery, betting and gambling will be considered as supply. Rather, yesterday we have seen its valuation also. Valuation of lottery, betting, gambling is kept in which rule? Yesterday you have seen that it is kept in rule number 31A. Do you remember? Not 32. It is kept in 31A. Yes, very good. Yes. For lottery, there were 2 points. And the face values 100 by 128 or 100 by 128 of the government notified value. Of these two, whichever is higher, isn't it? You remember it? Very good. Let's go ahead. Further, in negative list, 2 things are given, that if you are supplying goods from place outside India, that is in non-taxable territory, to another place in non-taxable territory without these goods entering into India, then it is neither supply of goods nor supply of services, rather it's not supply. And finally, there are warehoused goods, means in customs warehouse you have kept the goods, and now these goods are, yes, so supply of warehouse goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. Okay, so they are directly sold outside India. They are never brought into India for home consumption. They were kept in the customs warehouse. Agreed? Anisha, I would like to tell you, supply to SEZ and supply in foreign countries, that is exports, these two we cannot say that they don't fall in supply. They are supply, but they are zero rated. Agreed? Yes. Okay, good. I hope you have understood all these things. Can we go ahead? So this completes our section 7, which we had to discuss. Any doubt in section 7? No. Very good. So what we have kept as today's agenda is section 7 plus section 11. Now let's go to 11. What is 11? 11 is exemptions under GST. So many students ask me, where is this topic in our syllabus? So I want to tell you that there is a topic called as industry specific analysis. Okay, so under that topic, institute does ask us question on this section 11. Agreed? Okay, so again here I have given you analysis of section 7. You may go through that. Schedule 1 activities also I have given you. I have even solved questions of section 7. You may go through them. They are not challenging. They are just examples of each, I would say, clause. Okay, even detailed explanation I have given you for services in relation to construction of immovable property. Agreed? Okay friends, let's go to exemptions now. So what we are going to do in exemptions is step by step we will analyze, okay, every service that is important. Okay, so let's see. Open the question bank which I have given you. So first we will discuss about charitable trust services. Okay, services which are given by charitable trust, we are discussing about that. Are you all with me? Yes, wonderful. Okay, now I'm really bored of telling you switch on the camera, switch on the camera. So no issues, now I will not tell you that. Okay, you just have to now adjust with my speed. Okay, chalo, because I don't get idea at all if you keep your cameras off as to what is happening. I don't get idea at all. Okay, so it would be a gentle request again to all of you that please keep your cameras on. I can see 23 of you attending live. Okay, good that you have taken initiative to attend live, because of course you are getting recordings also, but still if you are attending live you expect something. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead, and let me tell you, few days back only we have taken a revision of these topics. So do we already have this recorded with us? Answer is 100% yes. Okay, so in 2 minutes I can give you its recording. That's not a big task, but my concern is if 21 of you 23 of you want to attend live, why not for 21 of you this whole topic be revised right now? Okay, that's my whole concern. Okay, so services which are given by charitable trusts. Okay, and so these services, keep in mind, should be of charitable activities. If these services are related to charitable activities, then and then only it is exempted. Okay, so not any service given by charitable trust is exempted, but only services in relation to charitable activities given by charitable trust. So do you realize that two things are to be satisfied simultaneously? Charitable trust giving services in relation to charitable activities. Okay, agreed? So I am not revising right now which all are the charitable activities. I hope that you know the charitable activities. Okay, you know charitable activities means it could be in relation to education to underprivileged children, it could be with respect to conservation of nature, it could be with respect to health. Yes, so you please go through charitable activities. Okay, now let's see questions based on this and try to reconnect to this provision. See, empty city, an entity registered under section 12AA of Income Tax Act, meaning to say it's a charitable trust. Section 12AA of Income Tax Act means it's a charitable trust, has furnished you following information with respect to activities undertaken by it. You are required to compute GST liability from the information given below. Fees charged for yoga camp conducted by the trust. So, enhancement of religion, spirituality, yoga. This is one of the charitable activity. So, will you exempt it? Of course, yes, it will be exempted. So, remember this. Whole motto is not solving the sum, but motto is to reconnecting to the important provisions. Okay, जब sum के साथ reconnect होते, when you connect with the provisions with the help of sums, that connection is strong. That's why we are connecting with the help of sums. Amount received for advancement of educational program relating to abandoned, orphaned or homeless children. This activity is also exempt because this activity is also a charitable activity. Yes. Amount received for renting of commercial property owned by trust. Okay, such letting out of property is not a exempt supply because it is not a charitable activity. Then payment made for services received. So here when we talk about services received, we are talking about, do you realize, we are talking about an inward supply and not outward supply. So this is usually falling under reverse charge mechanism because it is an import of service. Okay, because it is payment made for services received from service provider located in England. So this is actually import of service. So it is taxable under reverse charge basis. Okay, so this will be considered separately. Okay, but what I want to tell you is, at this point, if government or charitable trust imports any service, it is specifically exempted. Okay, it is given in exemption notification of IGST. So this, on this, no tax will be payable even on reverse charge basis. I hope it's clear to all of you. And finally, amount received for activities relating to preservation of forest and wildlife. This is a charitable activity that is pending, or you can say activity relating to preservation of forest and wildlife. So it will be exempted. So finally, what will be your assessable value or value of taxable supply? 35 lakhs. 35 lakhs, not 45 lakhs, please. 35 lakhs, this one only, obviously. So what is the GST payable? GST is at 18%. So, and it's given here that GST has been charged separately wherever applicable. Means given figure is excluding GST. Means 35 lakh is excluding GST. So 35 lakhs itself becomes assessable value. So do you get 6 lakh 30,000? Yes, wonderful. That's your answer. Check. Solution is given here in depth. Check. Solution is given here in depth. You are going to find every solutions here. Okay, let's go to second question. Second question, sorry, not second. Let's go to third question. It is interesting because read this. Next things. Okay, services by way of. Who is giving services? Not defined, but services by way of conduct of any religious ceremony. Means whatever priest receives as dakshina, okay, after performing the what you can say religious ceremony, that is not considered as supply. Means rather that is exempt. Even if it is supply, it is exempt. Okay, then renting of precincts, premises of religious place meant for general public. So this is exempt. Okay, owned, managed by trusts. It is exempt, except now when it will become taxable, renting of premises, where charges of renting of rooms is exceeding 10,000 1000 rupees or equal to 1000 rupees per day. Agreed? Means luxurious room is being taken where the rent is luxurious, substantially luxurious, where the renting of room is more than or equal to 1000 per day. Then charges for renting of premises, community hall, Kalyan Mandapam, open area are more than or equal to 10,000 per day. And finally, charges for renting of shops, okay, spaces for business, commerce are more than or equal to 10,000 per month. These limits are being set up. Okay, so check now. Question relating to those limits. VHP, an entity, sorry, one second. VHP, an entity registered as religious trust under 12AA of Income Tax Act, has furnished you following information with regard to activities undertaken by it. You are required to calculate its value of taxable supply from the information given below. Renting of rooms where charges are 500 per day. So 500 per day means it will become exempt. It would have been taxable if it is 1000 or more per day. Renting of rooms where charges are 1500 per day. So this, mind you friends, entire amount becomes taxable. Why entire amount becomes taxable? Because 1000 rupees which we are talking about is not exemption limit, but it is a threshold limit. When the rent of the room is more than or equal to 1000, then it becomes taxable. So entire 9 lakh is taxable. Renting of community hall where charges are 25,000 per day. Here the threshold was 10,000. It is 10,000 or more, so this also becomes taxable. Next, renting of Kalyan Mandapam where charges are 5,000 per day. This will be exempt. Renting of shops for business where charges are 15,000 per month. 15,000 per month will become taxable because it is 10,000 or more, rupees 10,000 or more per month. And renting of shops for business where charges are 5,000 per month. Of course, this will become exempt. So now take total of what all is taxable. You will get value of taxable supply. Is your value of taxable supply 26,50,000? Yes, so that was asked to you. So check. Solution. Okay. Did you understand? Are you able to recollect? Yes, very good. Going ahead now. So this way you can easily revise, okay, your exemptions as well. Then let's go to agriculture related services. Okay, most of the agriculture related services will be exempt. Okay, most of them. Means what? Agriculture related means what? Maybe some training services are given to farmers. Okay, maybe letting out of machine is involved. Agency services are involved towards agriculturists. Everything of this sort will be exempt. Okay, what here is specifically taxable is, you know, services with respect to, rendering of horses. Horse means basically it could be artificial insemination with respect to horse. Okay, so see, it that is taxable. So check, easily you will be able to solve a question based on this, and via question you will be able to recollect this whole, what we can say, service of agriculture related. Hmm? Check the ninth question. Lot of points I have covered in ninth question. Check. March month's various supplies done are given. So again supplies, some receipts are there. So information about that receipts are given. Okay, means why will there be receipts? Because you have given the supply. Now you have to tell me which supply is exempt and which supply is taxable. Receipts from supply of farm labor. Now this is exempt. It's specifically given. Now usually, giving labor will usually be taxable. Supply of labor will usually be a taxable service. But since it is farm labor, that farm labor specifically becomes exempt. Do you agree with me? Yes, wonderful. What about charges for seed testing? So as I told you, agriculture related service directly, it is also again exempted. Very good. Charges of soil testing, it should be soil testing of farmland. Again it is exempt. Now one important point comes up. Charges for warehousing of potato chips. So basically warehousing of agricultural produce is exempt, but potato chips is not agricultural produce. If I say potatoes, it's agricultural produce. But a company like Pepsi, which is manufacturing Lays, that becomes potato chips. For to them you will give such services of warehousing of potato chips. So why it should be exempt? It's not exempt. It is taxable. Yes, processed. Very good. It is taxable. Next, commission received on sale of wheat. Don't get deceived by the word commission. What we want to say here is that agency services are given. So agency services usually taxable, but it is towards agricultural produce, so it will become exempt. Do you agree with me? It is specifically said that agency services were for sale of wheat. Okay. Charges for training of farmers for use of new pesticides and fertilizers developed through scientific research, exempt. Very good. Then renting of vacant land to stud farm. Stud farm means it's related to horses, so it's it will become taxable. Leasing a vacant land to cattle farm, that will become exempt. Charges for warehousing of rice, okay, that again will become exempt. It is warehousing of agricultural produce. Charges for warehousing of cotton fabrics. Cotton fabrics, again something like potato chips, meaning to say processed, so it will become taxable. And as I told you that retail packing labeling of fruits and vegetables, this is specifically covered in one entry, that is 57, and it is exempt. So what will be the value of taxable supply? One important point that you have to do is check whether given supplies are including GST or excluding GST, given values. All above amounts are, they are saying, excluding GST. Very good. So ready-made figure of supply you will get if you take the total 4,70,000. That's it. That's what was asked and that's what was expected from you. Check. 4,70,000 is the final answer. Are you getting it? Yes. So this way, slowly, steadily, one by one, you should do each and every possible exemptions. Okay. And you know, suddenly its weightage in the exam is up to 10 marks. Okay, exemptions plus scope of supply. So after today's session, even if we consider yesterday and today, then you would have covered something of 15 to 20 marks. Valuation plus scope of supply plus exemptions. Great. Let's go ahead, friends. See now, before going to education service, let's go to healthcare service. Health care service. Okay, straightforward. Any services, you know, which are given in relation to either diagnosis of a disease, it could be diagnosis related, it could be medical treatment related, or it could be not medical treatment but care is taken of the ill person. So any of these service given will be exempted. Okay, that is healthcare service. Even what I would like to tell you is even healthcare of animals is covered. So veterinary services are also exempted. You know what is vet? VET, vet. Okay, doctor of animals. Agreed. So even their services are exempt. Even blood bank services are exempt. Now what you should understand is two things. When I talk about hair transplant or cosmetic surgery, then that is kept out of healthcare. So that will become taxable. Yes. But when support of hair transplant or cosmetic surgery is needed for treating the person, means healthcare and cosmetic surgery is not taken as luxury, but support of that is needed for treating the patient, then it is exempt. Then it forms part of healthcare. Did you get my point? Yes. So unnecessarily I have seen some students confuse themselves in this point. But the point is very simple. If there is unfortunate accident and in that accident the patient is in a bad state and that patient has to be, you know, given a medical treatment taking help of cosmetic and plastic surgery, then that will of course be a healthcare service and that will be exempt. But if a model goes to clinic and takes, you know, cosmetic and plastic surgery treatment to look better artificially, then obviously it is not a healthcare service, it will become taxable. Did you get my point? Check. Go to the example related to this. So this 13th question. Well-being nursing home has received following amounts in month of November in lieu of various services rendered by it in the same month. You are required to determine its GST liability for November from details furnished below. One is palliative care for terminally ill patients at patient's home. Palliative care is given to improve the quality of life of patients who have serious or life-threatening disease, but the goal of such care is not to cure the disease. Anyways, this is a health care service, so it will become exempt. Okay, I told you that healthcare includes diagnosis, treatment as well as care. Services provided by cord blood bank unit of nursing home, yes, it is also exempt. Hair transplant services, no other information is given, means it's a pure hair transplant services. Okay, so it's not health care, it's not for any medical treatment, so that's going to become taxable. Wonderful. Then ambulance services to transport critically ill patients from various location to nursing home, even this is covered in healthcare service. Okay, then naturopathy treatment. See, when I talk about healthcare services, they should be in a recognized system of medicine. Recognized system of medicine is defined in Clinical Establishment Act, Section 2, Clause H. Recognized system of medicine is naturopathy treatment a recognized system of medicine? You are not expected to know. This information mostly will be given in the exam. It is a recognized system of medicine, so of course this will become exempt. Okay, because it will be classifying as healthcare service. Agreed? Then plastic surgery to restore anatomy of child affected due to an accident, this is exempt. It is plastic surgery, but it is a healthcare service. Pranic healing treatments, such treatment is not recognized system of medicine. When not recognized system of medicine, you are just going to debar it from exemption, so please tax it. And what about mortuary services? I want perfect answer. Very good, Pratiksha. Mortuary service, burial service, funeral service is not supply of goods nor supply of services, given in schedule 3 negative list. Okay, just mind it, just schedule 3 and another 3 is Roman 3, just mind that. I know you are, I am sure you know that. Okay, so it's not taxable. All the amount given above are exclusive of GST. Can you please find out value of supply? Yes, only two things are taxable, 1 crore and 1 crore 20 lakhs. So finally assessable value will be 2 crore 20 lakhs. Okay, if they have asked you GST also, please calculate GST. It will be at 18% on 2 crore 20 lakhs. Check. It's going to be 39 lakh 60,000. Agreed, all of you? Such simple issue. Soon they can. Oh, this same question was asked in June 22. Yes, the way this question was repeated, maybe now it's time for some other questions to be repeated. Getting it? Logic being, these are very typical questions. Okay, these are very typical questions for any professional student. That's why we are taking bunch of these questions. Yes, I do remember. I have solved it for Taxman Cracker. Yes, this was first question of 5 marks, right? Fine, friends. So I'll not be surprised if they ask you this time Resident Welfare Association, which we are going to do. Resident Welfare Association. Okay, that's a big hint for you. We are going to do that. Second, I won't be surprised if they ask you this education service. Either education service, Resident Welfare Association, or even charitable trust renting out some, precincts of their premises, means precincts of their temple, that we did na, room and shops, and also Kalyan Mandapam and community halls. Those things, if they ask you, I'll not be surprised. Okay, now it's time that they ask you those things. See, go to passenger transportation. But then you have to keep yourself cool and answer those questions very confidently. Passenger transportation, check whether okay, charitable activities were done, agriculture related services were done, we are going to do education, health services were done, okay, check this. Services of transportation of passengers with or without accompanied belongings. Such services provided by air. So basically flight companies providing service which start from or end at an airport located in northeastern states of India or at Bagdogra in West Bengal. Okay, so specifically this air transport is exempt, not any other. Okay, starting at, embarking, or ending at, terminating, airport located in northeastern states of India. Okay, including Bagdogra in West Bengal. Non-AC contract carriage other than radio taxi. Radio taxi GPS operated. So GPS operated will be taxable. For transportation of passengers excluding tourism, means for tourism purpose will be taxable. Conducted to charter or hire. And stage carrier. I told you stage carriage means buses and all, but other than AC stage carrier. Okay. Check. And what else will be exempted? Services provided by railways in a class other than first class or AC coach. As soon as there is AC coach in a railway, it will become taxable. Okay. Then services provided by metro, monorail, tramway. Metro, monorail, tramway, public transport, so exempt. Inland waterways, exempt. And services provided by public transport other than predominantly for tourism purpose in a vessel between places located in India. Vessels, ship. And finally metered cabs and auto rickshaws. So metered cabs, auto rickshaws, whatever supply of service they give you, that will be exempt. That's very much in unorganized sector, so we cannot tax them. Agreed? For this, check the question which we have to solve. See this. Fourth question. There is one company which is engaged in providing services of transportation of passengers by various modes. Now you tell me which one will be taxable and which one will be exempt. Service of transport of passengers by vessels in national waterways. So if it is for tourism, na, it will become taxable, but it's not given that way, so it is otherwise, so we will exempt it. Service of transport of passengers by AC stage carriage. When we talk about AC stage carriage, you know it becomes taxable. Wonderful. Service of transport of passengers by non-AC stage carriage. Non-AC stage carriage, you know, will be exempt. Okay. Then service of transport of passengers by contract carriage, but point is it is for tourism. When it is for tourism, it will become taxable. Nagaratna, check. Nee, who said exempt? Anisha, check. It is for tourism, so it will be taxable. Okay. Service of transport of passengers for Mumbai, it should be from Mumbai to Chennai port in vessel, and such service is not for tourism. So in vessel and not for tourism, it will be exempt. Wonderful. Very good. Going ahead, service of transport of passengers in metered taxis. Metered taxis have to be exempt along with auto rickshaws, including e-rickshaws. Okay. Service of transportation of passengers in non-AC contract carriages. Non-AC contract carriages exempt, and service of transportation of passengers in AC contract carriages. AC contract carriages will be taxable. So please tell me finally, what is your value of taxable supply, assuming that each supply is given here actually, that each supply is excluding GST. Yes friends. So basically 25 lakhs plus 20 lakhs plus 15 lakhs. Yes, the figures which I have marked. Is it 60 lakhs? Yes. Many of you have given the answer. Check. It is 60 lakhs. Did you all get it? Anand. Then who else doing this sum for the first time? Did you all understand it? How many students are watching live? Now number is 20. Okay, no problem. Good. So shall we go ahead? Yes, very good. Let's go ahead now. Last service before 15 minutes break. Very important service, education. Okay. Rather, all services which we are covering here, they are important only. Okay. But from understanding perspective, education service will become important. Why I am saying it will become important is because of two things. Some outward supplies by education institution are exempt. One. Second, some inward supplies by education institutions are exempt. Did you understand my sentence? Some outward supply by them are exempt, and some inward supply for them are exempt. So you have to be careful. Yes, in the words to and by. And another thing, you have to understand what exactly is meaning of term education institution. Okay, so check. What exactly is meaning of the word education institution? That's very critical. for us to understand. Okay, so there are three types of education institutions. Which are those three types of education institutions which we are talking about? One is those which are providing preschool education and education including education up to higher secondary, in simple language till 12th standard. Okay, those institutes which are providing education up to 12th standard, that is one education institution. What is second education institution? Colleges. Okay, colleges which are providing some degree recognized by law in India. And third, what is third? Third is very simple, it is some institutes which are running approved vocational courses, those courses which are approved by government. Agreed? Okay, check now. Now listen, once you have understood who the education institutions are, then you have to understand that services provided by these education institutions to students, faculty and staff is exempt. Agreed? Yes, no? Then services by way of conduct of entrance exam, okay, against consideration in form of entrance fee, that will also be exempt. Now comes a point, okay, services provided to an education institution by way of 1, 2, 3. Can you see these three services? These three are exempt only if they are given to a school. Okay, clear? Only and only when they are given to a school they are exempt. Means inward supply of these to a school is exempt. So transportation of students, faculty, staff. Clear? Transportation of students, faculty and staff means one agency giving school vans on hire to whom? To schools will be exempt. But what about vans giving on hire to college or vans? Yes, that will become taxable. Very good. Then catering service. Catering service to whom? Again schools. And security, cleaning, housekeeping services performed in such education institution. Clear? Mind you, security, cleaning, housekeeping provided in such education institution. In such, so not for any program outside the school. So this all will become exempt. Then services relating to admission to or conduct of exam by such education institution, means here any of the three category. And lastly, supply of online educational journals or periodicals. Now this inward supply will be exempt only when given to colleges. Agreed? So again I have given its bifurcation to you here, that summary of inward supply by education institution which is exempt. So first three are exempt only for schools. Next one is exempt for all. Agreed? And as you know, online journal will be exempt only for colleges. This is the way you have to understand these services. So I hope that education services are clear to you. Don't worry, you get one more opportunity to understand it with the help of example. On page number 4, question number 10. Are you all there? I hope you can focus at a time for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, obviously. Yes. Yes. Very good. Good. Check. Fortunate Limited, a registered taxable person, provides following information relating to their services for month of November 2020. Gross receipts from, means, you know friends, here education institutions have given outward supply. Do you agree? 1. Running a boarding school. What happens in running a boarding school? In short, the supply is of services to students. Education services to students. It will be exempt. Okay, and main service is education here. Residential dwelling is ancillary to the main supply. So exempt it. Next, education services for obtaining qualification recognized by law of foreign country. This will become taxable. Very good. Conducting private tuitions. This will also become taxable. Very straightforward. Conducting modular employable skill course approved by NCVT. This is exempt. Then fees from prospective employees for campus interview. This does not fall in scope of exemption, so it is taxable. And lastly, renting of furnished flat for temporary stay to different persons. This is accommodation services provided. Pure accommodation services provided. They will become taxable. So find out what is the assessable value given that above receipts. Always find for this sentence how are the figures given in the question, so they are exclusive of GST. So 36 lakh 80,000 should be answer. I have given you detailed explanation here. Check. And GST on that should be 18%. Yes, 6,62,400. Very good. Go to next question. Yes, some wonderful question has been asked. Let us read that. So online journals of ICSI and some other professional institutes is taxable. Okay. Let me tell you what are we talking about. Okay. Are we talking about inward supply or outward supply of that online journals? That's my first question to you. Are we talking about inward supply or outward supply of those online periodical journal? No, we are talking about inward supply. That's exactly the reason I asked you this question, because what question you have stated now, that tells me that you are thinking from perspective of outward supply. Nahi, I am talking about inward supply na? Those 5 supplies I discussed in inward supply. Okay, so I see suppose now I modify your question. If I am service provider of that online journal and I provide that service to ICSI, then now you answer, will it be exempt or will it be taxable? Okay, now for that what you have to answer is whether ICSI falls in education institution. Okay, so check whether ICSI would fall in this particular definition. Institution providing qualification recognized by law in India. So is ICSI institution which is providing qualification recognized by law in India? Answer is absolutely yes. So in my opinion, it should be exempt. Clear? Okay. But see, you cannot generalize all the things. If now ICSI comes out with a publication of chartered secretary in online mode, then what will happen? Chartered secretary is for members in online mode. Very good. It will be taxable. Now I must be audible, right? Okay, there's a battery went down. Okay, so I was talking about chartered secretary. What will happen with respect to chartered secretary, which is hard copy? Hard copy would be, mind you, friends, exempt because books are not chargeable to GST. Okay, but online journals are chargeable. That's how it happens. Clear? Okay, good. And let's see now this question. See this 11th question now. XYZ Limited is engaged in providing various services to educational institutions. Means, tell me friends, for educational institutions now, it is an inward supply? Yes. And furnishes you following information for month of April 2020. You are requested to determine value of taxable supply and GST payable thereon if all charges are exclusive of GST. The rate of GST is 18%. First is renting of immovable property. What will happen with this? It is taxable. Very good. Simple thing you have to answer, that whether it's covered in any of those 5 services. If the answer for that is no, then directly tax it. Renting of immovable property to commercial coaching center, taxable. Very good. Transportation services, yes, it is covered in the 5 services. Let's see, it's provided to whom? Provided to students of higher secondary school, exempt. Very good, because school. Outdoor catering services, yes, it is in 5. Let's see, it's provided to whom? To education institutions running approved vocational courses. It will become taxable because such service given only to up to 12th standard schools is exempted. Very good. Security services, yes, it's in one of the 5. Provided to a pre-nursery school, it will become exempt. You know why? Then housekeeping and cleaning service, yes, covered in 5, but it is provided to college. It is taxable because it is exempt only if it is provided to schools. That's how this particular entry is designed. Conduct of exam of ICAI, it is exempt. Very good. Placement services provided to ICSI, this will become taxable. Nowhere it is said that placement services inward supply is exempt. Development of course content of ICMI Institute. This will also become taxable. Finally, training of staff of higher secondary school. This is also taxable. Wonderful. Take total of all taxable figures and please tell me what is the value of taxable supply. Understood? Each and every service, that's important. Total to you will take. The charges were exclusive of GST. So just total you have to take. That will become value of taxable supply and GST on that at 18%. Yes, it's 39,62,500 and 7,13,250 is the GST element. Is it really clear to all of you? Yes. Okay. So it's that time in our batch that we will have a break. It's mid time. So it's 8:30. I will see you by 8:50, 8:50. And when we start back, we will be doing the pending exempted services. Okay. And then we will conclude for the day. And obviously you don't have anything about exempted goods from your exam perspective. Okay. Chalo. So see you on the other side of the break at 8:50. Thank you.